Okay, so I promised to make a video about attacking invaders. So here it is. I'm gonna go over I'm gonna go over a lot of stuff very quickly. So if you have any questions, just ask. You know. Okay, so we're gonna cover which skill points to assign. We're gonna cover invader knowledge, which invader to hit and to avoid, how to figure out the gear, and how to hit the invader. So let's start with the skill points. On the skill points, you can't go to these two until you hit 10 in each one of these. Do not put more than 10 on these two until you've maxed out these two. So it goes 10, 10, 10, then you max out this one, and then you max out that one. And once you max that one out, you can start putting points on this one. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't put anything here, and I'll explain why in a little bit. Okay. Number 2, invader knowledge. Now, this is critical. This is probably the most important thing in this whole video. Do not hit invaders until you get your knowledge up. Now, this is my first town. I'm just learning the game just like you. And I wanted to, if I was to start over, knowing everything I know now, I would have not done any of these. I would have not done any of the first 4. I would have only focused on invader knowledge to begin with. And the reason for that is the invaders give you a lot of XP. They give you really good gear to make your other knowledge cheaper when it comes to boosts. And I think I'm going to save that whole being being efficient with your boost. I'm going to save that for a different video. But for now, let's just focus on the invader knowledge. As you can see, I'm pretty high up in these. You don't have to be that high, but I wouldn't start hitting invaders until your hero offense and your hero sustained attack at least has 4 points on each. And you definitely want invader 5. I would highly recommend getting this as high as you can. It's a bit expensive, but it's very much worth it. The most important ones are, and this is in order of importance, hero offense. That is the most important one in every single case. You want to have the hardest hit possible because the rewards you get are based on how hard you hit the invader. And then it's hero sustained attack and hero critical hit. I'll explain what hero sustained attack means in a little bit. The critical hit, this doesn't actually determine how hard you hit with a critical hit, but how often you will hit with a critical hit. And it's important because, like I said, the harder you hit the invader, the better the reward is. So the more often you get that critical, the better your rewards are going to be. And now things like hero endurance are pretty important because a lot of this has to do with properly utilizing hero energy. And I'll explain that a little bit better in a second. But just know that I would personally not hit invaders until I got at least 4 in these. And that's pretty expensive. It takes a while. It takes a lot of boost. If you haven't spent a lot of money on this game, maybe you should start on Invader 4. But get these as high as you possibly can before you start hitting them. Don't just go nuts and start hitting level 2 invaders. And let me explain why. I don't know if I'm... Alright, so that kind of goes into my next topic, which is which invader to hit and which to avoid. Now, another YouTuber did some research. He actually hit, I think, 10 of each and figured out what your return on investment is. Now, when he's talking about return on investment, that means how much hero energy you had to put in order to get a certain reward. As you can see, Invader 1, you get, now he misspelled material, but you get 1 piece of material for every 213 energy you use, which is pretty awful. Invader 2 is 115, which is still pretty bad. Invader 3 is absolutely atrocious because it's actually worse than 2. And it's actually supposed to get better with every level, not get worse. So never hit Invader 3s. Just completely avoid them, pretend they don't exist. As you can see, Invader 4 is already far more efficient than Invader 2. And it's actually not a bad starting place. If you have to start somewhere, I would start in Invader 4. But Invader 5 is quite a bit better than Invader 4. And Invader 6 is not that much better than Invader 5. Another thing is, when it comes to Invader 6, you need to unlock everything in this tree before you get to Invader 6. And these take a really, really long time. They're extremely expensive. I would save this for probably maybe at least a month from now. Don't even bother trying to get there. Stick with level 5s. I hit level 5s. I'm happy with level 5s. I get good rewards for them. I don't plan on going Invader 6 anytime soon because of the investment it requires. Real quick, this is a fantastic site. Vikings Wiki. It tells you how long each one of these knowledges will take. And just so you get an idea, it takes 111 weeks just to unlock Invader 6. But you still have to go through all these and all these, which are both like 9, 90, 36, 14, 90, 30. You have to get through those before you get to level 6. Bottom line, don't bother. It's just too much right now. All right. How to figure out gear. Okay, now this is pretty important because a lot of people would just be like, all right, I'm ready to hit invaders. Let me just, so let's take a look at which invaders are available. It looks like these guys. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll just start hitting random ones. Don't do that. Figure out which invader you want to hit and figure out why. And let me show you what I mean. So let's take a look at the Khazar. If you click on the Khazar and you click on this little eye here, you'll see what kind of materials you'll get. And let's just remember one of these. Piece of felt, right? Now, let's use that wonderful site I showed you. And let's take a look at the different items that you can get. So, piece of felt. We search for felt. Felt. No felt. How about armor? Item of armor. I believe. Oh yeah, there's a piece of felt. He misspelled it. All right, that's wonderful. So the plate helmet is one that you can only build by hitting Khazars. There's no other way to build this piece of equipment. And what's fantastic about it is the hero experience. It is 30% is just insane. It is just great. Now, having said that, the Huns, let's look at the broken quiver. Broken quiver. They have a fur hat that has 40% experience. To me, the two most important things that you can level up when it comes to gear is hero experience and learning speed. Learning speed will make it cheaper for you to learn, to boost any of your knowledge. And hero experience, it's a no-brainer. You get a lot of experience for hitting invaders. The more of these you have, the more value you're getting out of it. But the bottom line is, make a list of the type of materials that they drop. Figure out which items you can build from them, and you can do this inside the game. It's just easier to use the site. I'll show you how to do that. Oops, wrong button. All right. You can go into the forge, look at equipment, invader equipment. You can only get this equipment by hitting invaders. And here's that plate helmet I was showing you. Here's the fur hat. Now, equipment that I really like is ones that give you learning speed, because learning takes a lot of time. As you saw, some of them take like 90 weeks. If you can, the more you can decrease that time, the less you're going to spend on boosts, which is exactly why I would have avoided every single knowledge other than invaders when I started, because by hitting invaders, you lower the time it takes for you to learn all this other knowledge. probably got a little bit off topic, but the point is, look at the invaders you're hitting, look at what kind of items they're dropping, figure out what you can build with those items, and decide which one you want to hit. For example, the Saracen is the one that I'm hitting now. And the Saracen is really good for building and attacking army. So we'll just look at the helmet. Troop offense during attack, 24%. Troop defense during attack, 24%. And what it is the better the level, the better the percent. And as you can see, I can create the legend one right now. 24% of offense during attack is really good. And I think if you get all the Saracen items, you end up with like 100% extra attack, which is just incredible. All right, last but not least, how to hit the invaders. Pay attention closely to this one because it's very important that you do this right. When you attack the invader, you have two options, right? You have the enhanced attack and the normal attack. This hero energy is your currency that you use in order to extract value from the invaders. And like I said, the harder you hit, the better the reward is going to be. Now, if you hit enhanced attack, it's going to hit them with the same strength every single time, 31 times. If you hit them with a normal attack, and I'll do so right now, the very first hit is going to be kind of weak. But every consecutive hit is going to gain 15% extra strength. So now it's 15%. I'm hitting him 15% harder than I did last time. And let's go ahead and do that. Now I'm hitting him at 30%. Now this bonus maxes out depending on how high your sustained attack is. Remember I was telling you guys to max that one out? Well, this one is maxed out for me. And towards the end, you see how it says number of hits and it's 15? So that means just off of that alone, I can hit him 15 times and each time get a bonus. At the end of my invader hitting session for that one particular invader, I'll hit him at 490% of strength. And if that happens to be a critical, I'll usually get at least a rare item, usually an epic item. So it's very important that you hit them one at a time. Do not use that enhanced attack. It's there as a trap. It is there as a trap. Like literally, if I hit him 29 times, it's going to be 29 times at 30%. If I do another normal attack, it's going to go up to 45%. Another thing really quick, if I go and hit another invader, then the sustained attack for this one is going to drop off. You have 59 minutes to hit him again before this goes back to 0. One thing I forgot to put on my little list of things to cover is which packs to buy. And now the pricing on these packs is going to be different for you depending on how much money you've already spent. But there's one particular pack that is absolutely fantastic for hitting invaders, and it's pretty much built for that. It gives you 50 relocations, which is really nice. It gives you all this hero energy, and it gives you one more point that I forgot to cover. When you're hitting these invaders, it's important to have all your bonuses in place. And I mean as many as you can possibly get. The one that I will always use when I'm hitting invaders, number one, is hero experience. It's called accelerated training. You can find it by clicking here. Always have hero experience on when you're hitting invaders. That 25% is huge. It's enormous. I mean, I would get like 100 million XP in one day. That means you can get 125 instead. Or if my math is fucked up, something along those lines. Another one, attack on invaders. And like you saw, you get that from the pack that I showed you. Again, have that on and you have an hour to use it. Remember, you cannot buy this with gold. It does not exist in any item store or the clan store. You can only get this through the packs. So if you turn it on for an hour, I usually commit to an hour of hitting these invaders. You can also add marching speed ups, but it's not that important. You can do it without marching speed ups if you just relocate right next to them. But the hero experience and the 20% in the invaders is absolutely critical. Like I said, the harder you hit the invaders, the better your equipment is going to get, the better reward you're going to get. One last thing, you get different bonuses for different items. The ones that I always have on when I'm hitting invaders are the ones that give you hero experience. And I got these by hitting invaders. That about covers everything I wanted to talk about. Again, if you have any questions, just hit me up, ask me. If if you're not in my clan, just leave a message in my underneath the video. I'll make sure I answer it. I appreciate it. Like and subscribe. Thank you. Peace.